Welcome back. So we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects, and one that I think is very, very important and kind of sets the basis for almost everything else we're going to talk about in this course, and that is business history. Now some of you are thinking, why do we actually need to even talk about history? This is an intro to management course that we're teaching, an ethics course. Well, those who don't understand history are doomed to repeat it, first of all. And maybe even to borrow from Marx a little bit, history is the story of class struggle. It is that story of the struggle of society and government and business, kind of in this kind of contradictory sort of relationship. Understanding the history of business helps you understand current and future trends. Now, of course, we could do semesters and semesters of business history. I'm not going to do that here. We're just going to kind of highlight the basics. Again, one thing perhaps borrowing from Marx, and you can see some of my Marxism lectures for more detail, is that as business has ascended in power over time, it has dramatically changed the ideas, institutions, and material things. It has promoted capitalism as almost something that is morally or ethically right. It has changed the institutions and basically modified government to support businesses and has created a consumer culture. And it has also modified the material things that are in our reality. Of course, not only just the things that consumers enjoy, but also the tools needed to get done for business, and a lot of these material things are designed to reify business power. So some of you are saying, well, what exactly is power, by the way? So power is the ability to force or compel another entity to do something else. And of course, we can talk about power in some sort of a rational choice kind of thing. Remember we talked about those models, the dominance, market capitalism, countervailing, and stakeholder models? Well, those deal with questions of power. I can make you do something because I'm going to threaten you if you don't do it, or I can make you do something because I'm going to reward you if you do. Okay? Now, business power is the force behind a company, an industry, or a sector to make another entity, whether also in business, but also in society and government, to do something else. And in some ways, capitalism has given business a moral basis. It makes business actions legitimate. And legitimacy business power up here. It's one of your vocabulary terms. Can you see that? I hope so. And legitimacy is the rightful use of power. Now, of course, legitimacy ties into the social contract, and legitimacy is something that's actually kind of hard to define. There's no concrete example of legitimacy per se. And if you're not sure, I mean, if you're any children of the 90s out there, all you have to do is watch Seinfeld, and the whole comedy of that TV show stems around legitimacy. People not necessarily understanding the norms of the social contract or legitimate forms of behavior and in some way violating them. So that's legitimacy. And we generally think of business as legitimate when it uses its power for the common good. Now, there's a couple different spheres or levels of corporate power. You have the deep level and the surface level. So the surface level basically says business power directly causes immediate changes, both great and small, and we can see it, we can comment, we can understand it. And then the deep level basically is the tacit or the implied. It says that businesses and corporations shape and change society over time through these kind of large macro level changes in industrial growth. So it does it two different ways. And then there's different levels and spheres of corporate power. Okay. These are in the comments below. But we have the economic level, okay? And that's basically where a corporation influences events, activities, and people through controlling of resources. You've got the technological level, where they influence the direction, the rate, the characteristics, and the consequences of the physical innovations they develop. You've got political power, where corporations are influencing governments. You've got legal power, where corporations are shaping society. You've got cultural power, where they are influencing values, habits, and institutions. And environmental power, where the corporation has the ability to help or destroy nature. And of course, power over individuals, how they exercise power over employees, managers, stockholders, customers, and citizens. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and stop this video. Our next few lectures, we're going to talk about the story of the industrialization, but before we even get to that, we'll have to talk about ancient history. We've got a lot of really interesting historical things to talk about, but our case study of the railroad will be a great example into the study of business power. So I'm looking forward to seeing you then.